Hello, my lovelies. Today I want to share a video with you that is for you if you are looking to get into the field of illustration. You are either a total novice or a beginner illustrator, and maybe it's not in the cards for you to go to art school to get a degree in illustration, and still you want to get in there and you want to learn with what is available to you online, in bookstores, and so forth, because that is what my exact story is. Before I get into it, you might ask, what qualifies me to share this information? Who am I even? And you're probably wondering, am I some professional illustrator? If you go in the bookstore, you're gonna find my name. No, to all of it actually. But what I might be is maybe a year or two ahead of where you are. And so basically, I am someone who works a full-time job in an unrelated industry. So I love my job and I have a really cool team, but it doesn't help me in any way really get further with my creative skills. And so I have to do it all after hours, on the weekends, in my free time. And I've spent about a year and a half so far pretty focused, really investing hundreds of hours in improving my own skill. And I'm motivated enough to learn and do it by myself. So, by yourself, but you need expert advice, and there's so much good content out there. So I really wanted to share with you what has helped me. So I'm not going to share everything I've done, but I'm going to share the things that I got a lot out of. There are a few different online classes that I have gotten a lot out of, so I'm going to share my absolute favorites for you to check out. So the first one is a website, a program called Make Art That Sells. The website Make Art That Sells is run by Lila Rogers, who is an agent herself, has a lot of practical experience as well. And she works with other experts such as Zoe Tucker, for example, for the children's book course. I will do a separate review. I'm actually in the course right now. Again, it is July 2020. It is the third time I've taken such a class. And I would love to show you the kind of before and after, the progress I've made. But that deserves its own separate video, which will come. So make sure if you're interested that you subscribe that or you check through my channel. If it's already there, it'll be going up in probably September 2020. Her classes are absolutely incredible. They are so close to the industry so that you really do learn what it means to work with publishers, what they're looking for, what agents are looking for in portfolios, in pitches. The level of the other students is incredibly high, so automatically you push yourself to become better because you can see the gap and you want to be up there too. So again, I'm not going to go into major detail on this because it deserves its very own review video, but I couldn't give any more thumbs up. If I had more than two, I'd give you more than 2 thumbs up for those classes. There are tons of other classes. So if your focus is not children's book illustration, but you're interested in editorial or homeware or other areas of illustration, she does have courses for that too. So I would absolutely recommend checking out that website. Now, the next website that I really think you should check out, especially if you're interested, again, in children's book illustration, but not necessarily only, then you can go to svslearn.com. And so I have only taken about 2 or 3 little courses from them. It is on my list to go back to because it was that good. I took a few fundamentals classes, how to draw bodies of animals, and it broke it down into a level that I could understand. And I went from only being able to draw little heads to being able to draw animals in different angles, in motion, and so forth. So to me, that was a huge win, and that was just one of countless classes that they have. They have a monthly membership as well. So you can actually get kind of an open access for a relatively low monthly price. And really learn a lot of skills there. They have forums, they have live reviews. So I know it is on my list to go back to. I started a little bit right at the beginning when I first started illustrating, March 2019, but I will go back. It's just, there's so much good content and I don't know when to do it all, right? You only have so much time, but I know it would be worth my time. So I will be going back to those fabulous classes. But in the interim, I will be focused on building my portfolio, because I think all these classes are helpful, but you walk away with a long list of points that you know you need to improve on. So you also need the breaks in between taking classes to actually apply those skills and improve your artwork and your portfolio. It is an absolutely solid foundation and overview, but let me tell you what the title is: Becoming a Successful Illustrator. I have the second edition by Derek Brazel and Joe Davies. It is an incredible resource and it is gorgeous. So you have everything from self-promotion, finance, how to run a business as an illustrator, legal advice. There are also wonderful illustrations that go along with specific concepts that the authors tell you about. It is an absolute gem, at least in my experience. So that's the first one. This one is by Martin Salisbury and Morag Stiles, Children's Picture Books, The Art of Visual Storytelling. I am #1 fangirl of these next two books, and specifically Professor Martin Salisbury. So he is a professor that I believe started the program, the Masters in Children's Book Illustration at the Cambridge School of Art at Anglia Ruskin University. This book is truly helpful. It is kind of a second best, right? It is not first prize, so I can't go do this master's, but I can learn a little bit of the wisdom and still get a little bit of that education on my own by absorbing these books. In the layout, it is similar to the book that you just saw, and it covers different content though. It has less of a business focus and more of a focus on history, on incredible examples of the range of picture books. So brief history of the picture book, the different art processes, the printing process, the publishing industry, word and image, and how those go together, which is a very unique art skill that I think is actually incredibly difficult to learn. It is incredibly complex. It is absolutely underestimated when an average person that has not thought deeply and learned deeply about the industry picks up a picture book, how complex of an art form it is to tell a story over 32 pages and have that combination of information coming from the words and the pictures, and often doing that in just very few words or no words at all. So to me, it is absolutely mind-blowing the kind of skills that people have that create this, and the examples in this and the range is just something that fascinates me. Another book by Martin Salisbury is Illustrating Children's Books, Creating Pictures for Publication. I bought this. It was recommended when I was taking that 1-week summer school at Anglia Ruskin. It is a wonderful, wonderful book. It has information about techniques. It has information about illustrating for fiction, nonfiction, goes over typography, getting published. It is mwah. The first book I found at the bookshop. I stumbled upon it at the World Illustration Awards in London in 2019. I had the complete just luck of being able to visit one of my best friends, hi Valerie, and also look at these awards, really go to the show. And then I took this book and I read it on the way on the train to Cambridge University. So Anglia Ruskin University, Cambridge School of Art, where I had that incredible experience at the picture book illustration course. So this really motivated me on the way, And I think it's so easy to see gorgeous art and feel like, oh, your style is different and maybe everyone else is better. But this book is a book full of sketchbooks by artists. And the range of this is just absolutely incredible. This is one of my absolutely favorite books without exaggeration. I think the plethora of incredible artists and different approaches and different artistic sensibilities that this shows is just bar none. And I really, really, really love this book, and I'm so glad I stumbled across it because it really gives me hope in a way. So this is actually a recommendation, one of the few that I think is cool for anyone. So even if you're not an artist, even if you're not specifically trying to work on illustration skills, this is beautiful if you have any kind of appreciation for art. This is incredible to see what people do with a tiny little sketchbook that they carry around with them in their life. While I was at Anglia Ruskin, that children's book illustration summer school, I also stumbled across this book, which I believe Heffer's bookstore had sold. And oh man, I wish Cambridge were closer. I wish I could be there all the time in the bookstores on campuses, sketching the gorgeous architecture and, you know, being able to attend the offerings of that school, but I can't. This is a little slice of that week in book form to me. I'm sure you know Oliver Jeffers. If you don't, you will soon if you look into the topic of picture book illustration. And so I absolutely love his work. And so it's great because you receive multiple of his completed stories in one book. But the amazing thing, what makes this version so very special, is that you receive some of those sketch notes. You see the initial sketches, you see how he develops the idea, and then that is combined with the finished illustration. This is like peeking into a little magical secret world. I love that behind the scenes view of how a picture book is made, and especially for someone who is so successful. And I love it. This is really cool if you appreciate the art that is picture books, because I think you have to really think about how complex it is to tell a story that is a combination, an interplay of words and pictures that has to have a flow over 32 pages. It's not like a single painting that you hang on the wall, but it needs to mean something. It needs to have clarity of expression. It needs to elicit emotion. I mean, the number of skills you need to write and illustrate an incredible picture book are so numerous that I have the greatest respect for it. And that is why it's such an aspiration of mine to, wow, be able to do all these things, not only draw well, not only be able to write, not only XYZ, but put it all together and really transport someone into a different world and a story for a moment that is sort of all encompassing. There are some books that are not focused specifically on illustration, neither the artistic/illustration skills side nor the business side of things, but they've helped me tremendously while I try to improve in the illustration area and finding that balance in your life to, one, get things done, but two, also not burn yourself out over it. So I'd love to share those with you. So the first book is Finish by Jon Acuff, and I really love that subtitle, Give Yourself the Gift of Done. So one of my strengths, I would say, is that I'm really creative and I have 1,000,001 ideas. That is never a problem. Coming up with something, having that enthusiasm to get started on something. Like, I love that energy at the beginning. I love just feeling really creative. I love that starting period. I, make a plan. I set these goals. I think I'm gonna crush it. And then reality sets in, and that is that I don't really like routine. That is a challenge for me. I love the idea of routine, but I actually kind of hate routine. And because of that, it's really easy for me to start things and very difficult naturally to really see them through to the end instead of getting distracted by the next great idea, or also giving up because I feel like I'm not making enough progress on that perfect plan that I've created. This is the book for you if you have that same kind of problem where you're really great out of the gates and you quickly fizzle. And it's hard for you to keep up the enthusiasm and the momentum from the beginning to really see things through to the end. So ever since reading this, I really have been able to make major dents in some of my goals, to really complete things, maybe not to perfection, but to a state that they are done, which is something that in the past I had really struggled with. So I really do recommend this. If, really to anyone. It has nothing to do with illustration as such, but for me, it did, because it allowed me to keep going on that path that I am and not give up so easily, not give up when you're not perfect, not give up when you are not hitting the own targets you've set for yourself. And then just saying like, well, if I can't do it perfectly or I'm not progressing as fast as I want to, then what is, whatever, just it's not working. And here I am actually practicing a year and a half later still, which is incredible. So this is really a great resource, I think, an inspirational resource to keep you on track, just keep you going so you can finish. It's awesome. The second book that, well, maybe this is the opposite, but it is another challenge that I face. So I usually have very large creative ambitions, and it is something that, for truly basically every period of my life, I have had creative pursuits, but it's sometimes hard to determine what is really bringing you value in your life and where you are overworking yourself. So as I mentioned, I have a full-time job in an unrelated field, which I really do enjoy. And, it's also strenuous because I give 100% there too. So then coming home and knowing where is the line between pushing yourself and reaching for goals on a creative front, on a personal front, and when you just need to learn how to relax and do nothing or enjoy life a little. That is something that is actually very difficult for me to find the balance in, because I will have, creative focuses, and they very much and soon easily become like work because I am so focused on them and I am so ambitious. And I think, oh, they're so far away. And, if I take a break, I'll never get there. You keep pushing and don't give yourself a break, you will not make it. And the reason I'm recommending this, because if you're also on this illustration route where you want to improve and you're doing it in the evenings, on the weekends, it is very easy to add additional stress to your life that can be overwhelming. And if you keep that balance in mind, and maybe you need help like I did with this book, I think in the end you will go further, because it will keep you from giving up and giving too much too soon in a way that tears you down and actually hinders you from reaching your own goals.